to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're coming back, hi. My name is Melody and I'm a 30-something living with my family in an old stone cottage in Brittany, France. I'm a knitwear designer by day, and when I'm not busy knitting, you'll find me somewhere in the garden, growing the next crop, fermenting or canning in the kitchen, foraging mushrooms in the woods, thrifting, landscaping, learning more about medicinal plants, or renovating this old cottage. Thank you for following along. Welcome back to the kitchen. It's been a couple of weeks since we've last been in this room in the house. So the kitchen is an addition to the 1870 cottage that we live in. It's an extension to the house. When we bought the house, the kitchen didn't look like this at all. I'm gonna add more pictures of how the kitchen looked like when we first moved in. And it didn't feel homey, it didn't have any character. And what I want for this kitchen is to kind of have a little bit of a Hobbit vibe. I grew up watching the Lord of the Rings movies, and these movies have, the aesthetic of these movies have impacted me so deeply in so many different ways, in so many deep levels in my life. And yeah, I want it to be kind of part Hobbity and part apothecary. So I see a lot of wood, some green elements, some plants, mushrooms, not growing in the walls, please no. We're in a zone that is quite prone to having the merule mushroom growing, and I'm crossing all of my fingers and finger toes for that mushroom not to grow in our house. But just like jars of dry shiitakes that we're growing, or like some specimens that I foraged in the woods next to home that I can have on display. And that is a very interesting mushroom that I might talk about at a later point or in another video, because it's definitely off topic, but I'm so obsessed with it that I could dedicate a whole video to it. So I'm thinking of doing maybe some foraging as well in the future, because foraging is a big part of my life, and I treated myself to a little foraging walk last week, today's Monday, last week, and I managed to find quite a beautiful mushroom that I brought back home. So anyways, I'm on a completely different tangent, the kitchen. Yes, so I want this kitchen to be earthy, homey, hobbity, a homey, hobbity feel to it, and kind of like an old medieval apothecary. So I'm slowly getting there. My husband's not too on board with this idea. He really likes IKEA kitchens. He likes when things are perfect, when the wall is perfect, the drywall is perfect, there's no imperfections anywhere, and I like handmade things, so we're trying to compromise with that. And before any big work could be done in this kitchen, we needed to have the contractors do the main part that we definitely could not do ourselves. So what we did first is that the layout of the kitchen was completely different. So our fridge was right next to me, and I was kind of blocking the energy in this room. It's a very long and narrow room, and I felt that we needed to empty this kind of like corridor kind of path. The entrance to our house is over there, so you enter through the mudroom, walk through here, and then enter the house. So there's a lot of energy flowing in this area, and if there's anything blocking, like this plant, but she needs a little rest, blocking this energy, it feels stagnant and doesn't feel too great. So I'm trying to keep this area as clutter-free as possible. What I keep adhering to is the big job that we had to do. We started with a non-isolated south-facing window wall PVC door situation. no isolation inside and no insulation outside. So this room was freezing cold in the middle of winter, and we had bugs coming through the cat door, and they also had a door, like a dog door, like a dog trap door, that was fixed with MDF, so it wasn't too great. The plastic was dilating with the heat, so the door could not open properly in the winter, and even when closed, there was that much of a gap, so anyone could pretty much like kick the door in and, you know, enter the house. So it didn't feel really safe, and very little light could come in the house. And once again, we live in an 1870 cottage with quite a few windows, but it's not like these new builds with fancy big windows. So I need to have access to the outside very quickly. I need to be able to see what's happening outside. Nature is so important to me, and the only thing that was possible to do in this house, given the narrowness of the kitchen, was to have sliding doors. We're gonna have a bug net installed to the door, so then we're gonna be able to keep the door open in the summertime, because we are in the middle of the countryside. We're surrounded by farms, and flies are a huge issue here, and I don't want to have these dirty, sticky tape thingies hanging everywhere. So yeah, we asked them to install that extra net to make it better for us. But I'm so happy. We don't have a TV. We don't own a TV, so my evenings are spent on my chair over here, looking at the window and just knitting, enjoying the view, and dreaming about, you know, even more things that we're gonna be able to grow. So now, not only are we well insulated inside, but we also have beautiful insulation outside. I decided to install some wood panels on the outside, kind of to break the minerality that the house is giving. So yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful addition that makes it feel like cozy and really homey. And now that this is done, we're also gonna do some terracing on the outside. We're probably gonna do a wooden terrace outside, so then we're gonna be able to have a little chairs facing the garden and just enjoy the view even more. As for the inside, so they installed the windows, and we didn't want to have like a drywall around the window. We really wanted to make it, or I really wanted to make it more hobbity, and I thought that the best way to do that would be to incorporate natural materials. So I told you that we've redone the south-facing facade of the house, and that is done naturally, which is the best way to preserve a house like this. So we used a mix of sand and lye, and that is the best way for the stone to breathe and for the house to be able to kind of move. So we wanted to recreate that inside. So we used the same mix and coated. We have a baby lizard at home. Wait. Come here. Wait. That's why we don't need a TV here. I'm constantly distracted by things that are happening inside and outside the house. So yeah, I was saying that we plastered the inside, the wall that is around the window with lye and sand, and that was kind of like the first step. Next, we're gonna do, I think it's called an earth plaster. So we're gonna mix some of the very clayish like earth that we have around here and mix it with lye and sand and make it like more smooth. So yeah, it took a long time for Edgar and I to do that first coating, and it was so messy. I can't even tell you how messy it was. It took us probably more time to clean up the mess after we were done than actually doing it. So I'm looking forward to doing the second, or starting the second phase, but I'm also kind of anxious because I know how much of a mess we made. But I just have this picture in my head. I know how the kitchen's gonna look like, and I'm so excited. I'm so looking forward to having it done and having this whole space to ferment and turn delicious food into canned goods that we're gonna enjoy in the autumn and the winter. It's just such a beautiful thing to have, and I'm so grateful that we have this space to make all of these dreams come true. So thank you so much for watching. I'm definitely gonna keep you updated on the progress that we're gonna make in the kitchen. There's a lot of work to do, as you can see, and it's gonna be an ongoing project. So there's gonna be a part 2 and probably a part 3 and 4 and 5. So thank you so much for sticking around, and talk to you very soon again.